What's going on, guys? Hope you're all doing well. Now for today's video, we actually have a lot of news to talk about, believe it or not. So recently, Chris Pratt got to talk a little bit about what he thinks would make for a cool direction to take the Jurassic Park franchise in. Some brand new Jurassic Park video game re-releases have been teased, and Universal seems to be going in a different direction with their social media accounts, producing more 1990s style content. There's a lot to talk about that I think is pretty interesting, and honestly, I hope this leads to cool things in the future. So recently, Chris Pratt gave an interview to Collider's Perry Nemiroff talking about the Jurassic World franchise and where it could go now that his time as Owen Grady is seemingly over. While speculation has already begun on the next Jurassic film, nothing is really concrete at this moment in time, and the actor is just throwing out some ideas of what he'd like to see himself. One involving the Mosasaurus sounds really cool, in my opinion. To quote Owen, he says, "I would say just given the advent of what we can now do underwater, I'm curious to see more about the Mosasaur." This is what Pratt shared with Collider about the franchise's future. "I thought that Dinosaur was a wonderful creature, but I'd be curious a little bit more about the life of that fabulous creature. Maybe some more underwater dinosaurs in a future film," which a lot of people were talking about, a Jaws angle for the Mosasaur would be pretty awesome, or even something like Deep Blue Sea, an underwater facility full of nothosaurs, maybe Plesiosaurus or Elasmosaurus, Spinosaurus in general. Sounds pretty awesome in my opinion. Chris Pratt added that one time James Gunn gave me a pitch. He was like, "What about cavemen? Isn't there a caveman version of the Jurassic thing where a caveman, like the remake of Iceman or something like that? Or maybe the DNA they extract is? I don't know." That's what Chris Pratt said. And now I don't honestly know if audiences would really enjoy the caveman idea much. I know I wouldn't. But there is some other interesting stuff floating around out there about where the brand could go in the future. One thing to point out is that at an early point in the development of Jurassic Park 4, the character that Chris Pratt would go on to portray was actually supposed to save tourists from a Mosasaur attack that destroyed the monorail system in the movie. We actually talked about this recently with Goji Center in Dangerville in the P-Stub podcast.
They had this big action sequence with the Mosasaurus that would have been way different. Ooh. It attacks the monorail, and Owen's trying to save people from falling into the lagoon. But
that would have been great.
Yeah, it would.
Oh man, that's a hell of an idea. See, there's just like,
why did they cut this off, man?
I don't know. That's what I was just saying.
Now, Jurassic World director Colin Trevorrow has also shared his own thoughts on what we could expect from an R-rated installment in the Jurassic Park series, if that were to ever happen. I don't think it would, but this is what he had to say. Quote, "I do know that if we made A Quiet Place, if we made a hard R, really scary version, potentially very contained, I know I'd want to see that movie. But if a parent took their kid to that movie and horrified them for life, I know that would be a problem. Look, I don't want to put any cuffs on whoever has a vision for this in the future. All I know is that people love dinosaurs, people love movies with dinosaurs in them, and I know people love the world that Michael Klayton created. The reason why there are dinosaurs and humans in the same place, that sci-fi idea, it's a brilliant idea. From there, I feel like someone else should come to us." Now, I'll let you guys think about all of that stuff on your own. I've done videos before in the past about an R-rated Jurassic Park film as back as 2017. I don't know if it would work as far as the money is concerned, because other news came out that said that the Jurassic World sequels, Fallen Kingdom and Dominion, were actually double their reported budgets. I have no idea why, but I will say it makes a little bit of sense for Fallen Kingdom because that marketing push was huge. That was the most hype I've seen for a Jurassic Park sequel since literally the Lost World Jurassic Park. I mean, Jurassic World came out of nowhere and shocked the world with how popular it became, but there was a huge push for Fallen Kingdom. I don't understand how it cost double the budget though. Like, what was going on with that? But anyways, moving on. First and foremost is a new video game title involving the Funko Pop brand that looks like an edgier version of those Lego games, featuring not only Jurassic World characters and dinosaurs, but also John Carpenter's The Thing. Honestly, it looks pretty fun in my opinion, right up my monster movie loving alley. Check out Dragon Curve, my other channel, for all all kinds of stuff like that. So look, this looks fun in my opinion. But in other news, Limited Run Games, by the way, they've announced that they are, believe it or not, and this really did surprise me, there's going to be a re-release of the old school Nintendo titles from the 90s. This includes not only the Super Nintendo game for Jurassic Park, but also the other ones that were adapted for Game Boy, which are different, by the way, and even Jurassic Park 2, The Chaos Continues. It looks like they could very easily release these old games on current hardware like PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox, Nintendo Switch, etc., which would be a lot of people's first time even getting a chance to play these old games, which is something that I think is really cool, and I'm glad to see that they're giving them a re-release at all. If they don't come out on new hardware, that's a shame, but still something cool for collectors to grab in the long run. I will say that I'd love it if they got a hold of the Sega Genesis games. If they re-released those, I'd do a speed run on this channel of Rampage Edition in a heartbeat. I beat it in 23 minutes back in 2017, but I think I can beat that time easy.
Hell yeah, brother!
Apart from that, and I don't know if this has anything to do with the Jurassic World brand going forward, but it looks like the CEO of NBC Universal has stepped down, meaning someone else is going to be filling their shoes. This comes alongside a brand new Jurassic Park inspired video with Mr. DNA in the InGen Labs cloning dinosaurs that looks like, in my opinion, they're trying to go for that analog horror vibe that a lot of fans have been making videos of on YouTube, and they've been getting popular for a while now. I'm going to be honest with you guys and say I actually haven't watched those at all just yet. I know people have been asking for my opinions on him, but there's so many I don't know where to start, and I can totally see where the appeal is coming from for classic Jurassic Park scary material, especially from the 90s. So I think this little video was actually a cool bit of inspiration from what the fan community wants, and they've been delivering on that in a new way. I will say I hope they actually go into the whole dinosaur attack route, because that's what we're all here for at the end of the day. You know what I mean? It's the first time I've seen the official social media pages for Jurassic World doing something cool in literally years. It was very basic, but you know, you can take this to cool heights. You guys know you can. Apart from that, we still have a little ways to go before Jurassic Park's 30th anniversary, which will obviously bring forth a lot of cool stuff in celebration of the greatest dinosaur movie ever made, but hopefully with this new information that's come out, we get more Jurassic Park and Lost World stuff in the future. I still think interquels or midquels, you know, movies set in between the films would be the coolest place to go. And honestly, you could even build up Biosyn and Dodson's Locust idea so that it doesn't feel like it comes out of nowhere in JP6 like what we currently have, or a Spinosaurus origin story set before the events of Jurassic Park 3, or even Jurassic World Origins where they establish the park. There's like loads of ideas they could do. Why don't they do it? But look, so something that helps flesh out everything in the future, that'd be a cool idea for movies and make it more mature to grow with the audience instead of aiming at it like a very young crowd. Let's do something more cool. But hey, these are all just my own thoughts and opinions on the subject matter. What do you think of Chris Pratt's idea for an underwater Mosasaurus-based Jurassic World sequel? Would you like to see him come back in that? Would you like to play any of these re-released video games? What do you think of the new direction they're kind of taking the Jurassic World stuff? And do you think it's cool? Whatever your own opinions happen to be, I've already talked enough. I'd love to hear all about them in the comments down below. Now before I go, I'd like to thank all of my game wardens and InGen executives, as well as all of my park workers and InGen hunters as well. You've all helped my channel immensely, and I'm incredibly grateful for all of that support. Now I'd like to thank you all for watching today's video and hope that you enjoyed the content. If you feel like I deserve it, I'd appreciate the like and hope that you all consider subscribing. I'll see you all in the next video, guys, and as always, take it easy.